So I've heard it asked quite a few times, what is the best Bible app to use? And it's a great question because let's be honest, there's a plethora of them out there, all with different features. So in this video, I want to talk about 5 of the best Bible apps and how they might work well for you. Coming up. Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Chris of Christian Chris Bradley, and this channel is focused on talking about God, the Bible, and just the struggles of being a Christian in this chaotic world. And let's be honest, when it comes to finding a good Bible app, the struggle is real. So to help answer this question and figure out what's actually best for you personally, we did a bunch of research on 5 of the best Bible apps out there. So let's go ahead and get started, and make sure you stick around to the end, by the way, because the last one is the biggest, baddest, and my most favoritist of all of these options. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with number 1, which is Youversion, because if you've done any research into Bible apps before, there's a good chance you've heard of this app, and it quite possibly might be the most popular Bible app ever, period. It is said to have been installed on almost 500,000 devices worldwide, which is pretty awesome, really. And it's packed full of features, and the best part is it's entirely free. So while you might have heard of it before, what you might not realize is some of the awesome features that Youversion actually has that are kind of tucked away. So let's start off with our rating. First off, we have syncing, okay? This actually syncs between all devices, so you can have it on your phone, you can have it on the web, on your tablet, whatever you want, and it actually syncs between all devices. And one of the complaints or concerns I've heard of Youversion is, well, it's great on my device, but what about when I want to use it on a computer? What a lot of people don't realize is Bible.com actually is Youversion. So if you create an account on the app or on the web, it will sync all of your notes and highlights and everything flawlessly. It's a great feature, which is why for syncing, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. All right, so next up on the rating criteria, we have translations. This thing has over 60 translations of the Bible available, which is extremely impressive. And on top of that, if you don't always want to read, it'll read to you. And not in that crappy robot voice, where it's just reading words from a computer, but it's an actual voice, much like if you were to get, an audiobook subscription, which is a huge bonus. All right, so as far as versions go, again, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. So our next grading criteria is going to be user friendliness. All right, so the overall usability of it. And when it comes to the Youversion Bible app, it's pretty easy to use, and you can figure out the basics on the entire app really within only a couple minutes, and it's rather easy to navigate. But within this user friendliness, I want to cover a couple of features that should be pretty much in every Bible app. And the first one is highlighting. This version has great color options. It's pretty much unlimited. You can go into the RGB color wheel, which is, if you were to pull it up and it's got all the colors and you can just pick whatever you want. You can do that with this app and pick any color you want. The problem that I found is you can't label any of them. So if you like to pick a color and say, hey, this color represents where the Bible talks about love, you can't do that at all, which is rather unfortunate. When it comes to note-taking, it's really basic. It has a couple of cool features, but overall, it's pretty basic. It does have the ability to add additional verses, so you can click something, add a note, and then say, oh, I also want to include this Bible verse and put that in there. It can be shared between friends or the public, or just kept private if you want, but otherwise it's very basic. So for overall usability and friendliness, we're giving it a 7 out of 10, just because some of the features could use some extra working. And I know a lot of people love the option to do a ton of highlighting and have them all labeled properly, and it just doesn't really meet that standard. So a couple other cool things I want to mention is it does have an area where you can watch different videos of interest. You can kind of just scroll through and find Bible-related videos or Christian-related videos and watch those. So that's kind of cool. It also has a list of events near you. I thought that was a really cool concept, although there were 0 for me. Now, granted, I live in a rural part of Wisconsin, but it didn't even show anything in Milwaukee, right? So I don't really know if that feature is being fully used. Cool concept though. And then on top of having those 60 translations of the Bible, it also comes in over 60 languages. I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? And then on the web version, a really cool tool I like is if you want to pull up 2 different translations. So you want to look at the King James version and you want to compare it to the ESV, you can do that and they'll stay side by side so you can kind of compare them. Cool feature. When it comes to Bible plans, there's tons of them. I can't imagine you would have an issue at all finding a Bible plan on this device. And then it does have the option to create a Bible community. So if you want to get like some friends in and create like your own little Bible community and share stuff back and forth and your notes and and all that kind of stuff. It's there, so you've got that social media aspect if you want. Now, as for a couple areas that I think are lacking, the first and biggest, most noticeable one to me is there's no additional tabs or areas to save where you're at. So let's say you're at home and you're reading the Bible, and then you go to church and you want to pull up a verse that the pastor's talking about. You can do that, but it won't save your previous spot. You can't like open a new tab and kind of start over here and then come back to over here. You're pretty much just wherever you're at right now is where it's gonna stay. All right, and then next up, there's no option to download additional books or study Bibles or anything like that. So it's got the Bible, it's really good at that, which is great. But if you're like, hey, I wanna also have a study Bible up or be able to, cross-reference against the study Bible, you're not gonna find that anywhere in the app. So when it comes to uniqueness on this, we're gonna give it a 7 out of 10. And that's because it's not overly unique in something special that it does, but the fact that it does so much for free and has all those options really sets it apart from a lot of other apps. Because again, there are 0 ads. Now, as for our overall rating, we're giving this a 6 out of 10. Now, if you're wondering why do we have so many good things to say about and all these high ratings, but just a mediocre overall rating, and that's really because there's not a lot of advanced features in this app, like you're gonna see in some of the apps we're talking about coming up. So if you're just getting started into the Bible or into a digital Bible, this is an excellent free option for you to start at. All right, next up we have Olive Tree, and Olive Tree was my go-to Bible for a long time, and to this day I absolutely love it. I consider Olive Tree to be in more of the moderate to advanced Bible software, and what's great is you can start out using it for free. What's gonna separate it from things like Youversion is you have the ability to add many additional resources, and that's where it's gonna start to cost you. For example, if you want to download the NIV and the NIV Study Bible, you're going to end up having to pay a few dollars to get both the NIV and the NIV Study Bible. Now, when it comes to syncing, this thing syncs flawlessly across all of your devices, so we're giving it a 10 out of 10. And what's great, again, over Youversion is while it does have the web option, you can download software for Windows or Mac OS so that you can actually have the program physically installed on your computer as well if you'd like. Now, when it comes to translations, there are some good and some bad, which is why we're only giving it an 8 out of 10. When it comes to what options are available, they're pretty much all the options. All the options are pretty much there when it comes to translations. The problem is, for most of them, you're gonna end up paying at least a few dollars for them, so they're not all included for free. When you sign up for the free account, you're gonna get a couple of the major translations, and anything beyond that, you're gonna find yourself having to pay for it. When it comes to overall friendliness, we're giving it a 9 out of 10. All versions of this app are extremely easy to use, but due to all the extra capabilities I'm gonna get into here, it has a slightly higher learning curve than Youversion. Back to highlighting, the power of highlighting. Just like in Youversion, you can use that RGB parade to just pick whatever color you want and create those highlights. What's way better than Youversion in this instance is the fact that you can label all your colors. So you can go in and pick some obscure random green. This is the color I want, label it Bible verses on love, and then just have that available to you forever in the future. And again, it's gonna sync across all your devices. When it comes to note taking, it's easy to add notes all over this thing while customizing icons and adding categories and tags. The only downer is it's still a basic note editor, so it's not gonna like have any advanced word processing features to it. Now, when it comes to customization of the interface, you can put in dark mode, you can put in regular mode, you can change kind of like the background paper look if you want, you can change the font size, the font colors, the icons, the text, like all of the things, right? So when it comes to that, there's just a ton of customizable features and displays and ways of looking at it. And when it comes to Bible plans, again, there are tons of Bible plans. I've used them. There are some absolutely great options in there. Lastly, this does have audio options as well that you can take advantage of if you want the Bible read to you. Now, one con that I don't really like, it's kind of a good and bad, is you can't have a bunch of tabs open. So I can't have like 3 different things or 4 different things open at the same time. However, if I'm reading, I can bookmark something so that I can go on to something else and come back to that spot later on. And it does have the addition to open a second window, which you can have like a resource guide, or you can really pull up whatever you want on. So if I'm reading like the NIV here and I want to have the NIV Study Bible up over here, I can do that, and then I can collapse it or add it back as I want, and it will keep track with each other, if that makes sense. So as I scroll up on the Bible, the study Bible will also scroll up. When it comes to uniqueness, we're giving this a 7 out of 10. This just has a ton of capabilities with a library that gives you some stuff for free, but the ability to really pick up all sorts of different materials and Bibles and resources, and you can do it all a la carte. Now, as far as the final overall rating, we are giving this a 9 out of 10. It is one of my favorite apps to date, and currently there's only one program that I actually like better, and that's going to be coming up towards the end of this video. Next up, we have Through the Word. This is a really cool app. It's an audio Bible, though it does have text included, but it's for Android and iOS devices that allow you to select a plan and essentially guides you through that plan in minutes a day. So their motto is read the Bible, understand it, apply it, and make it a habit. Now, as far as cost goes, it's free, so there's that. There's no cost, no ads, and unlike some of the others, you get everything they offer right out of the gate. As far as syncing capabilities, there are none. So it gets a 0 out of 10. This is strictly a phone app. As far as Bible versions, it's kind of limited. We're gonna give it a 4 out of 10. They don't really have a lot to offer in that category. Now, as far as friendliness goes, we are giving this a 4 out of 10. As far as the overall how to use it goes, it's extremely easy to use. It's very basic design. I can't imagine really anybody with any basic operations in how to use a phone, a smartphone, would have any problems in using this app. And here's why I have a lot of questions on it is it's not currently available in the Android market. So I did a bunch of research on this, but I couldn't actually test it out myself. And what brought me to even include this in the video is I've heard amazing things about it. So really, if you have any experience with this app, please comment below with your thoughts. I've heard that it is just got some awesome, really uniqueness to it, and it sounds pretty cool. So let's get into uniqueness. We'll give it a 10 out of 10 because from what I've heard, this is a very unique app, and really it's specifically designed to help you explore and understand the Bible in only minutes a day, and its audio system is supposed to be pretty awesome. So now, as for an overall rating, I am giving this a 5 out of 10, so really middle of the line. But here's the thing, at the same time, I really want to try this app out. So who is it for? I would say someone who's wanting to start learning the Bible for the very first time. They're just looking to kind of get into the Bible. It could be a great introduction for them. This also seems like an amazing option to subsidize your Bible study. So even if you already have a solid Bible plan, which I hope you do, this could be a great addition to add to your daily Bible time by setting up a plan and then just listening to it a few minutes a day, maybe during your commute to and from work. Next up, we have Bible Gateway. Bible Gateway is a Bible system set up for not just reading the Bible, but being able to deep dive into His Word with everything from Bibles to study guides and just many additional resources available to further your knowledge and understanding. If I was to compare it to anything, I would compare it to Olive Tree. Now, as far as the cost goes, by the way, is this board working out? Like, can you actually see this okay? I'm a little concerned it's not even gonna really play out that well. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I should skip this. I don't know, I kind of like writing it out. Let me know in the comments. As far as cost goes, Bible Gateway, it starts out at $0. You can create an account and just use some of the basic features. But again, like Olive Tree, if you really want to get into additional material and resources and all that, that's where you got to start paying for it, which I'm not a big fan of their payment structure. I mean, you can buy things independently, but then you can do like a monthly and annual subscription, which I'm not really a fan of when it comes to something like a Bible app. And then I'm not kidding, get this, on their subscription sales page, it says, they pitch this, if you pay for it, you get reduced ads on the software. Like, it's not even ad free. You're gonna make someone pay and you're still gonna give them ads. What? Come on. So as far as syncing goes, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, and I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 because there seemed to be a weird delay. Like, I did something in the app and then I went to check it online and it wasn't there right away, and I came back later and it was there. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 on that one. As far as translations go, again, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It's got a lot of versions. It's got many versions in multiple languages. Again, some of them you might find yourself paying for. All right, under friendliness, we are giving it a whopping 3 out of 10, the lowest score yet in that category. Here's the deal. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna waste much more time on this option. In full disclosure, I'm not even sure why I included it. I think it's mainly because it's a pretty popular website / software that's widely known. So I felt like I should discuss it. In fact, I think it's even used by a lot of universities, but after spending some time with it, I don't see why you'd use it. Like, I really don't. I don't see why you'd use it. The interface is outdated. It's hard to navigate. The notes and highlighting options are terrible. Just no. So who's it for? I guess the person that tries every other app discussed in this video and is so unsatisfied that they want to try it as a last resort. So to you, I say good luck. Uniqueness, 0 out of 10. Overall, I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. Just terrible. Last up, we have Logos, often referred to as Logos 8 because that's the version they're on. Logos 8 is the grand piano, the gold standard, the most extraordinary, amazing Bible software I have ever used. Is that too much? It's amazing. In all seriousness, Logos Bible software has massive capabilities with tons of features for the reader who wants to really just dig into scripture, research, and just get lost in everything from commentaries to deep dives on how often a specific word is used. I mean, as far as features go, just packed full. All right, so now let's talk about cost though, right? Because here's the thing. When it comes to cost, it is not cheap. I mean, not even close. See, to even get the decent amount of features in this app, you're gonna want to spend at least like $100, I believe. Or you can, splurge for a lower end base package, and I say lower end, and I actually mean for hundreds of dollars or more. But if you decide you want to get involved in Logos 8 and you don't want to pay all that money, like I said, I would just start out with the base package, like the very minimal, I think it's the essential package or something like that, for like $50 to $100, and then you can add on over time. As far as syncing capabilities go, we are giving this a 10 out of 10. It syncs everything, and I mean like everything across all platforms: Android, Apple, tablets, computers. It's got the software and the apps and just all of the things, and even the web interface is absolutely intense. I mean, you could be like, got a lunch break at work, you just want to log onto the website, like all of your stuff is right there. I mean, you could just pick up where you left off on your home computer. It's absolutely amazing when it comes to syncing. As far as translations go, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Basically, it's got all of the translations that I'm aware of. I don't know if there are any translations you can't get through Logos. I mean, it's pretty intense with its library. I only give it an 8 out of 10 though, because again, you're gonna have to pay for them. So depending on the package you get, you might get X amount of translations, but then if you want a specific one not included in that package, you still gotta go out and spend a little bit more money paying for it. When it comes to friendliness, we are giving it a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm not giving it a straight 10 out of 10 is the app itself has a seriously high learning curve to gain knowledge on all the features it has. But on the other hand, that's because it has so many amazing features. As far as the power of highlighting go, the highlighting tool is intense. I'll just leave it at that because this could almost be its own video. I mean, it's got more highlighting features and capabilities than I can imagine anybody would probably even use. As far as the note-taking goes, again, this app takes note-taking to the next level. So much so that if you're a pastor, you can actually use the built-in tools to help you write your entire sermon. I mean, it's got like its own word processor built in when it comes to notes. As far as customizing text and colors and icons and all that stuff, you can customize tons of different stuff in this app. I mean, just check out all these different options right here alone. The only thing that has shocked me so far is the lack of dark mode. Now, it does have other options though. If you don't want it to be straight white, you can do paper and all that, but it doesn't actually have, that I found, a full dark mode. Now, as far as uniqueness goes, I am giving it a 10 out of 10 simply because it's so advanced and offers so many features. I haven't seen any other Bible app or software like it. So some other things worth discussing real quick, besides everything else that's already mentioned. There's plenty of Bible plan options built in there. Again, just the selection is enormous. You can have many tabs open at once, which is a great feature. I mean, you can have a Bible open, a study Bible open, a commentary open. You could be looking at the dictionary and, Greek meanings and just, I mean, it's just intense. And you can have all these apps open at one time and not lose your spot. And then you can pick up where you left off or save all those tabs and come back to them. It's great. You can also create prayer lists and study topics on certain ideas or people or even just words through all the tools it's got. I mean, I could go on and on, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. As far as features go, it is absolutely amazing. The only thing I would say that goes against it that I've found so far, seriously, is its price, right? Like, you can definitely spend a ton of money on this software if you wanted to. So obviously that's gonna hold a lot of people back, and I absolutely understand why it would. So as for an overall score, we are giving this one a 10 out of 10. As I'm sure you've been able to tell, I think it is absolutely amazing. It's packed full of features, and you can continue to expand on it over time and grow your resources and libraries and just really dive into basically any biblical study topic you want. Again, great option, but if you don't want to spend a ton of money on something like this, which is totally understandable, don't let that stop you from really getting into his word. As you've seen through all these, there are absolutely great options that you can get for free without even having to spend $1 that are still packed full of features. So once you figure out a good Bible app, you might want to try and figure out a good Bible plan. Click this video up here to see some options into diving into a Bible plan. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to read your Bible. Don't forget.